Hard Chiropractic Assistant Tribe, welcome to Team Tuesday. This one's for you. So today we are going to talk about net time, no extra time. But before we dive in, oh, just had a little glitch here. Okay, we're live. Good. Okay, so throughout today, if you have any questions or comments for me, they don't even have to relate to the topic. Definitely type them in the comment box. And if you're on the rewatch and you have any questions in regard to your chiropractic assistants or chiropractic assistants out there, if you have any questions for me, put them in the comment box and I would be happy to answer those for you. Sometimes I'll even create a short video training. So definitely reach out. I also do want to let you know that we have a chiropractic assistant immersion boot camp coming up this July. A lot of you are already registered. So if you're not yet registered or you want to hear more about it, this is an extraordinary experience that every chiropractic assistant should be able to have the opportunity to go through. So reach out to me. I'll put my phone number down below if you want to call me directly because you're a part of this tribe. So for today, Team Tuesday, net, no extra time. So I was particularly inspired to share this topic with the CAs here in this group because this is something that was really important when I was working in practice for Nona. It was something that we put into play all the time and that I've used in my own life outside of practice, and it's been hugely beneficial. So to really understand like how to be as efficient as possible with net time, we first have to address peak flow. So when is your peak patient flow? This is when the name kind of explains it pretty well. This is when all of your patients come in, your busiest hour, your busiest time, everybody's getting adjusted. If you're efficient with your scheduling and the way that you schedule, you should have these clusters of peak flow. And I know that's something we can help you with if you need help with that. So CAs out there, there's a big difference between your peak flow time and your non-peak flow time on what types of activities and things that you're going to be doing. Like obviously I wouldn't be verifying insurance during my peak flow. So your peak flow, you're going to be completely present with your patients there in that moment now. You're hyper aware of everything that's going on. I always used to feel like some sort of ninja or super creature during peak flow because you're literally making sure that everything runs like a machine. And the most important thing in peak flow is to guard, be almost like a bouncer standing outside of the bar, a big bouncer dude, guard your doctor's time and their sacred space. So during the peak flow, I'm going to make sure that I am keeping the flow going really efficiently for the doctor so that they're busy at all times. And I'm also going to protect them from having to answer any unnecessary questions or getting distracted from the patient that's right in front of them. So I'll actually intercede and do that and really set the space that the adjustment table where patients are getting treated is such a sacred space. That's time for that patient and the doctor. So if someone does go in to interrupt or ask a question, I'm gonna grab them and catch them before they distract the doctor. So I'm really setting the standard and the boundaries for the doctor's time, especially during peak flow. And I'm teaching patients what to do during peak flow. So I wanna if you're in office and you have multiple services that you offer for patients when they come in more than the adjustment, like let's say you have, rehab or they do their exercises or their stretches there in the office, I'm going to teach my patients right at the beginning when they come in, like every time you come in here, you'll have 3 stations. It's your responsibility to make sure that you hit all 3 stations. So as soon as you see that table open, run, go face down. This, of course, is speaking a little more to those of you that have an open floor plan. So I want to teach my patients how to act during peak flow to keep things really flowing and efficient. So that brings me to net time. Net time stands for no extra time. And I love this so much in practice because it's actually going to fuel you up. What I've found, and some of you have found, if things are slower or you have a lag, it can actually be really draining. So when we see more patients in a smaller amount of time, it fuels us up and keeps the energy high. So I want to keep my energy high from the moment I walk in the door to the moment that I walk out. And one of the ways I do that is implementing net time, no extra time. So my brain is always constantly growing and looking for ways that I can serve and add value to the patients, to my team, and to my doctor. So some simple little examples of this is if you have a quick moment or you're passing by anyways, maybe I grab the trash, maybe I sterilize the adjustment table and wipe that down, or, the shelves where patients set things. So I'm always looking for things to do to fill each moment there in the practice. And what's really cool about that is when you multitask and are time efficient, then at the end of peak flow, at the end of your patient hours, you don't have as many things to do because you've gotten a lot of them done during the day. Now, another thing that I do in addition to net time is assign, which is really cool. So let's say I want to get a patient testimonial from a patient. I might have them introduce them to another patient and ask them to share with that patient the best results they've gotten so far. So I might say something like, hey, Jane, we have Edward here. He's a brand new patient here in the practice. Can you share with him the incredible results that you've gotten so far? And then I'm listening and I'm getting them ready to basically share their patient testimonial. So let's talk a little bit more about net time and how we can get really good at it in the practice. And one of the ways you can do that, all you CAs out there listening and chiropractors, is practicing it in your real life. So what are you doing? I shouldn't say real life. In your life outside of the practice, right? What are you doing to create no extra time? So one way I did this is every time that I found like a powerful bullet point or something that I would say to patients when they were in the practice, when I was putting them on traction or on the phone with patients, I would record them down. And then I'd write them down and then I'd record myself saying these powerful things about chiropractic that would build them up and motivate them and inspire them and build me up. And then I would listen to that while I was driving to the office. Or like, because you're in this group, I know many of you have gotten really good at goal setting and creating your vision, creating your C goals for the future. Maybe you've recorded yourself saying your goal and you've recorded what that's going to look like, what that's going to feel like in the future. And that's something that you can listen to, or something that's going to inspire you or motivate you. There's tons of resources out there. I know that we have a lot of new hires this last month. So for those of you that are brand new, if you're not quite sure like what chiropractic is or what are all these people fired up about, and then also for those of you that have been in the practice and you just need some fresh content, some fresh fuel behind your fire, there are so many great things. Go on the Chiro Hustle podcast. That's something I love to listen to that really fuels me up and reminds me of the power of chiropractic and the valuable life-changing value that we're adding to people's lives every single day, and reminding yourself of that. So what are you doing when you're working out, driving, doing chores at home? What are you listening to? What are you feeding your mind? And are those things that are really strengthening you and empowering you in your life and in your role, or are they things that are weakening you? So getting really responsible with that, and not just implementing no extra time in multitasking, but also in your thought. So that's where I like to do that, is how can I, in my thought, really focus on the things that are going to add value, the things that are going to help me and not hurt me. So like today, for instance, in the CA Mastermind group, we talked about using a special phrase when things come up. We talked about the power of language and mindset and how we want to be really intentional with our language and use it away, both externally and internal language, use it in a way that's going to really set the frame to win the game and really empower you and build you up. So, one of the ways that I do this is, well, I'll just share with you since I have my notes here. I think this will be really powerful. Some language that I picked up from CAs that were sharing was, we're trying to do this, we're trying to meet this goal. Why not? We are doing this, we are going to meet this goal. Another one, we want to go up to 250 a week. How about we are going up to, or we're working our way up to 250 a week? So something that we can do if you've had experiences in the past where you haven't met your vision is just use the simple phrase, in the past I ... and then say, now or moving forward, I'm going to ... So this really marks such a significant time because we're coming to the end of the second quarter. We're right in the middle of the year. And this is a really powerful time to say what chapters, what things, what behaviors, what habits do I want to leave back in the first half of the year? Who am I now? Now that I've closed that chapter, who am I stepping into? And what a great way, what a great time to implement no extra time. So I'm going to be someone in this new half of the year, this next half of the year, right, that is filling my mind with things that are going to be powerful and lift me up. So now what's really cool is I never just, do dishes or make dinner. There's always something going that's building me up and strengthening me. And it's cool to see because even my 2-year-old, like how many of you, I know a lot of our CAs have kids, even my 2-year-old is starting to do that. She's getting in the habit of listening and hearing and building herself up and strengthening her mind, listening to positive things while she's playing and going about her day. So that's my encouragement to you. No extra time. Look around like a superhuman. Look around your environment in the office of, hey, what can I do? What can I fill in these in-between moments? Even if it's something as little as, wiping down the tables or going live. Do a quick live for the practice. Here are people getting motivated and inspired. Some of you are on Twitter and doing all these other amazing things. Grab some testimonials, share your testimonials. Just get raw and real and get it out there and do it. What did I learn recently from Nona? Done is better than none. Done is better than none. So use that net time efficiently. Thank you so much. It was an honor and a real privilege to be here with all of you guys today. And I will see you next week, if not sooner.